Like, share, and subscribe. Live for Love TV. Oh.
Welcome back to Live for Love TV. Excuse me. Today is the 6th day of the 7th month of the 23rd year inside the 21st century. Hope everyone's doing well out there. I've got a little bit of a raspy throat, so I'm going to try and get through this as quickly as possible. Now, somebody spoke to me the other day, one of our subscribers, and they were saying that there's a lot of subjects I don't deal with or I don't bring about enough, a lot of things I don't talk about. And I think I need to reiterate what the channel is and what it was set up for. The channel was set up to strengthen mind, body and soul, so that whatever happens in the world, in your day-to-day world, wherever you are in the world, you're able to cope with. That's what the channel was originally set up for, and that's what the channel will be continually trying to work on and bring across. That doesn't mean I'm not going to tell you things that happen in any particular place, but I want you to be able to know that it's not about just complaining about this and complaining about that like a lot of channels do, and moaning and groaning without no way of dealing with it. I'd first deal with a way of dealing with it, your mind, your body and soul, how you affect the world and not how the world necessarily affects you. That's what my concept is from inception, is that I believe I'm happening to the world, you're happening to the world. Some people believe the world is happening to you. That's their way of looking at it. It's not my way of looking at it. It's a different perspective altogether. Now, last weekend, and this is what I think the person was referring to, last weekend in Westmoreland, Jamaica, in a place called Retreat. So all of those of you who know Westmoreland, it's not a big place, but it's a place somewhere between Little London and a place called Negro Point. Yeah, Negro Spot. Yeah, so between Negro Spot and Little London, you have a place called Retreat. Now, Retreat, along with a few other areas very around that vicinity, have not been getting water in their pipes for months, they say. Now, this is the reports that people have said they've not been getting water coming in through the pipes for months. They've had to make do with getting water by other means, So whether it's river, whether it's bottled water, whether it's bringing in water from here, there, they've had to find other ways of getting water. So there's a lot of anger, as you can understand, and especially in a country where it's known as the land of wood and water. It's very, it's kind of unbelievable that water is a problem, in a place like that. And the funny thing is, it's all over the island. You've got water problems in Trelawney, Falmouth, you've got water problems even in Portland. You've got all different areas where you have water problems. And in Jamaica, for those of you who don't know, a lot of the time, the way people protest these things is by blocking the road. So they find means of blocking the roadway that goes through the area, so that the government will see, and the local MP will see, and the councils and the newspapers and everybody will see the stress that they're going through. And I mean, water is life. So I'm not going to say whether they're right or wrong, but we know water is life, and it's very important that people get access to water. Well, they blocked the road, I think, last weekend, and when they block the road, for people who have never been through a Jamaican roadblock, it's a very organized thing. They'll cut down trees that cross right across the road. So they'll have the chainsaws, machetes, whatever, and they'll cut down the trees. They'll put boulders in the road. They'll find all sorts of artifacts to find for the thing. They'll have old microwaves, brought down pieces of metal, everything, all in the road. And this is a major road. It goes from Negril to SAMAR, which is the main town in Westmoreland. So it causes some serious problems. If the road is blocked, we're talking about emergency services, workers in Negril, workers in SAMAR, shoppers, people going up and down the road. This is the major road. This is the major road. So it's a major problems it will cause. So this is why they do it. And like I say again, I reiterate, I am not saying whether it's right or wrong. I'm not in that position, so I don't have the right to say whether it's right or wrong. But the reason why I'm slowly creeping into what happens is, having seen how they block the roads, as I said, some of you won't know, is when the emergency services come along, which is the people that can, the fire and even the army that can actually remove these things. You have a set of young men, I don't want to call them youths, but let's say some young men on their motorbikes, moving up and down the road. So while one bit has been cleared, they're chopping down trees further up to the left or further down to the right. So you're basically blocked again. And this is up and down. It's a cat and mouse game. Goes on for hours and hours and hours. And when it's an area like Retreat where they're really well organized, it's just unbelievable. The emergency service almost couldn't cope the whole day. Eventually, sometime during the evening, the late evening, after maybe 12 hours or more, they were able to clear one part of the road that allowed cars to at least trickle down one side and some come back the other way, but on the same side. It was rough. It was rough for the people who lived there, rough for everybody, you know. And this is the level of protest and desperation that people feel they had gone through. Now, as I said, I'm bringing this up because people saying I don't report on these type of things, and I don't do a whole heap of this kind of reporting because, as far as I'm concerned, whatever you come across, you have to be able to deal with it. You can complain, you can get angry, you can talk to your brethren and say, boy, I like this, I love that, and this not right, and that not right. But at the end of the day, you have to be able to deal with it. If you don't have water, you have to be able to deal with it. You know, you can't fall down and be defeated and go into any form of mental, breakdown, depression, stressed out about things that are going to happen in this world, because they are going to happen. That's why I set the channel up. These things are going to happen, and as they happen, no matter what it is, you have to find a way over and around it. As I said before, with this man called Viktor Frankl, who was a survivor of the concentration camps in the Second World War. He became a psychologist, or he was a psychologist at the time, and went through it. And he talks about man's search for happiness, I think, or for meaning. Sorry, Man's Search for Meaning is his famous book. But he talks about these things all the time, how you cope, how one person sees the same thing and breaks down and can't cope and is suicidal, and another person is able to strive and get learning out of it and even become a stronger and a better person. So this is what Live and Love TV is about. This is why I say I'll mention these things and I'll talk about them. But if you're going to stay there and just moan and complain all day long and without any way of redressing the situation, then you're on the wrong channel. This is not that channel. This is not that channel. Now, at the beginning of this video, coincidentally, at the beginning of this video, you'll see someone who was endorsing the channel, a young man endorsing the channel. At the end of this video, you'll see the same man endorsing the channel. And I have to send condolences to his family, because last night he passed away I think in a motorbike crash, as far as I understand. I haven't got the full details, but he passed away. And condolences to his family and to everybody else who knows him. It's a very, very sad situation. And a very young man. I'm not exactly sure how old he was, but he's got to have been very young, 20, 21, something around about that age. I know I asked him his age at one point, but my memory is going, I can't remember. But it's very sad, and it's another thing that I don't talk a lot about. But in Jamaica, the amount of young guys that are dying on motorbikes, especially in places like Westmoreland and St. James, where they have a lot of bike taxis. We call bike taxis, where people are on the back of bikes as their taxi, to get in and out of certain areas. They use them. Maybe some areas in Jamaica don't use bike taxis, but in Westmoreland, St. James, they use a lot of bike taxis. So there's a whole heap of bikes on the road. And a lot of these young guys, as we all know, that they don't wear helmets. And even though they don't wear helmets, and they've been told to wear helmets, and the law's been, and it comes out on TV, and you see all the signs, the enforcement of this helmet thing is really bad also. It's really bad. You see, one day the police will come out and taking bikes off the road and, finding young guys, and then for the next 2 months, you can literally ride past the police, even talk to them with no helmet, and nothing is done. So these guys, young guys, don't take the helmet thing seriously. The roads in Jamaica, they're not the best. Let's put it like that. The fitness tests on cars and bikes, there's ways around these things. So a lot of these cars on the road, a lot of these bikes on the road, they've never seen a fitness center. They've never seen any fitness test center. But yet they've got the certificates to travel the road. This is just something we all know. This is how it goes. And even in the UK, in the early 70s, it used to be like that. When they used to call MOT, you could get an MOT without your car even leaving your front yard. But obviously they've tightened up on those things, and they haven't tightened up on enough in Jamaica. So a lot of the bikes and cars that are on the road, they are maybe not fit for purpose, maybe not roadworthy at the time. Maybe they've got default brakes or this or that. Who knows? Because if they're not being tested, we just don't know. You don't know. So the roads are a very, very serious issue here, and I don't know. I don't know. You know, priorities in certain countries. I don't know how the government sees it, but the amount of young people, forget the gun incidents, but the amount of young people are passing away on these roads is alarming. It's so alarming, and if they're not passing away, they're being maimed and, you know, limbless and stuff like that. It's just an unbelievable amount of number of young people, and in cars as well. And it's just you just, I mean, you do see the behavior on the road, and you know, they say if you don't hear, you will feel. But you do think that the elders, people my age and the people in government, would find ways of dealing with this, find ways of trying to stop these young people. If they don't want to stop themselves, then they should find a way to stop some of these young people. I'm not saying this young man was guilty of anything on the road or whatsoever, but there is too many people passing away, too many people passing away on the streets. You drive down the road any given day and you'll see the accidents, and you'll see these guys no helmets, and they pass you, and they're in and out of vehicles, speeding often, quite a lot of the time. And as people know, if you've ever driven on the road in Jamaica, people, as far as I'm concerned, they drive by chance. They think they're the greatest drivers in the world, but a lot of the driving is by chance. They don't drive with the concept that I understood, that was that somebody else could be doing something that you have to be careful of, that you always watch out for the other driver. That doesn't seem to be the MO, you know, of it in Jamaica. They seem to just drive with their own concerns and their own thoughts, and they don't expect someone to pull out on them. They don't expect a cow to come across the road, which happens a lot, or a goat or anything. You know, they just don't. It seems like a lot of the people don't expect that anything could happen. They just, what they're doing is the most important thing in the world, and we're losing too many young people, and that's very sad. You know, so my condolences to the young man again. You know, and to his family, to all his friends, to all the people who know him, and I thank him once again for endorsing the channel, and give thanks. Live for Love TV.
Like, share, and subscribe. Live for Life TV.